Hello everyone. Let us have a look at this question. What will be the output of the program? So you have to find out output of this program. So let us begin. The first line says hash include stdio.h. That means you have to include the header file stdio into your program. Next line, hash define online study for you junk. Now, what you are doing here is you are defining a literal online study for you, which will be replaced with the value of junk. So, wherever in your program you use this literal will be replaced with the value junk. Okay. So here is your main function, which has a single line statement, which says printf double quotes online study for you. Now this is the trick. Printf function. What does a printf function do? It prints the message onto the output screen. So whatever is enclosed inside the double quotes, that will be printed onto the output screen as it is. Why? Because the message which is enclosed inside double quotes is not going to compile by the compiler. I repeat myself, the message which is enclosed inside the double quotes of printf function is not going to compile by the compiler. It will be printed as it is, and that is why this literal is not replaced with this value, because right now this is just a message, not the literal. And so the correct answer for this question is option B, online study for you. Here is the next question. Again, you have to find out the output of this program. So let us begin with the line 2, which says hash define min of xy. So what is this? This is the function. So you are defining a function at this line which has a body of a single line. This is an expression which will be replaced when this function call will be made. What this expression is all about? This expression is known as a ternary expression. It has a condition where if x value of x is less than the value of y, then the x will be returned. And if this condition is false, that means x is not less than y, then y will be returned. Then starts your main function, which declares three variables of type integer x, y, and z, where x is 5, y is 6, and z. Z is equals to min of x plus y divided by 2 comma y minus 1. Now what is this? This is nothing but your function call that will be replaced with this expression. So let's elaborate this. So what is your function? Min into bracket, you are saying x plus y divided by 2 comma y minus 1, and the value for x and y is 5 and 6 respectively. So if we replace them, so it became 5 plus 6 divided by 2 comma 6 minus 1. That means it became 11 by 2 comma 5. And again you solve that expression, then you get, if you divide 11 by 2, then you get quotient as 5 comma 5, and this function call will be replaced with if x is less than y, If true, then return x or return y. So now see, this is the value of x, this is the value of y. So 5 is less than 5. Is that true? No. The condition is false, and that is why the value of y will be returned from the function. So 5 will be returned and get stored inside z. So the next statement, if z is greater than 0, yes, 5 is greater than 0. So condition true, it will come inside if block and it will print the value of z, which is 5. So the correct answer for this question is option A, 5. Let's look at this question. What does the following declaration mean? Int, into bracket, asterisk, ptr, brackets close, square bracket open, 15, square bracket close, and end of statement. So what does this statement means? Let us see. Int. Int, that means we are going to declare a variable of type integer. So next comes asterisk sign with the variable name. That means the variable is of type pointer variable. So what a pointer variable is? A pointer variable stores the memory address of a variable. So if the variable is of type primitive data type, then it will obviously store the memory address of that variable. But if the variable is of derived data type, then it will store the starting index of that variable. Pointer is not going to store multiple memory address into a single variable. Let me make it very clear. Pointer variable is not going to store multiple memory addresses into a single variable. That means a pointer cannot be an array. A pointer is always a variable. So, asterisk ptr, that means ptr, a pointer variable pointing to. Now, here is a square brackets that denotes the array. That means the ptr pointer variable is pointing to an array of size 15 of type integer. So the correct answer for so the correct answer for the question is option B. PTR is a pointer to an array of 15 integers. Let's look at this question. What is the output of this C code? Here comes our main function. First line, integer k is equals to 4. So we are declaring a variable k of type integer which is storing value 4. So far so good. The next line, float k is equals to 4. Now see, you have the value same, which is completely okay. You have the data type different, which is again okay. But you have same variable name for two different variables, which is not okay. A compiler never allowed to having same variable name of two different variables within the same function scope. Okay, let me elaborate this. So when you declare any function, let's say main, and if you declare a variable here, now this k variable of type integer has the function scope. That means this variable has the existence till your main function finishes. But you cannot have two different variables of same name in the same function scope. But if you change their scope, then it is completely allowed. So now if you look at the code, your k variable of type integer has the function scope, and your this k variable of type float has the block scope. So as the scope changes, you can have the same variable name, but otherwise you cannot. And that is why the answer of this question is option A, compile time error. Let us look at the last question of the video. By default, a real number is treated as a option A float, option B double, option C long double, option D far double. So the very first thing is what a real number is. A real number can either be a rational number or it can be an irrational number. So if you consider a float data type, then float is completely okay because it can store a value with the precisions, but it has a less capacity. And if you consider a type double, then the difference between the float and double is double stores the 8 bytes of memory, which doubles the space. That means you can have a value with longer precision. And that is why whenever you are dealing with the real number, you should always use a data type double. And that is why option B is the correct answer.
वीडियो अच्छा लगा हो तो इसे लाइक करें, और अभी तक अगर आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज इसे सब्सक्राइब करें और नई वीडियो के नोटिफिकेशन के लिए बेल आइकन को दबाएं।